players are on their way out into the middle again, and well, we talk about these sessions, you break them down, and first hours of sessions are always important, but it feels this one is too. England need 237 to win. They have got 8 wickets left, and there are 59 overs to be bowled, and they will all have to be bowled today if there's a chance of a result. So there's no hiding away, unless of course the light comes down and makes it impossible. But at the moment that's all fine, and we've got a fantastic afternoon of Test cricket to look forward to. Dan Norcross is coming into position here when he's untangled himself from his lanyard. I know it's always a perilous occupation. So Dan, get us underway, and Michael's going to join you here.
I would say there is a little concern about light today. Actually, it felt like there wasn't going to be any, but the clouds have rolled in, and they're not rain-bearing. But if it's darker later, around 6:30, because we're so ludicrously daft in not playing this game, starting it earlier, 10:30, 10:15 even. The angle of the sun, as I've been told many times on Twitter by a very fine meteorologist, is it's what it is, and it makes things dark at about 6:30 to 7 o'clock at this time of year. But let's not dwell on that. Jadeja is going to start up after lunch. This first ball has been reverse swept for 4 by Root. It was a rank full toss around leg stump, and Root just walked out and hit the first ball of the session. Reverse sweep for 4. Michael Vaughan, well done ever.
Yeah, afternoon. Well, there is the indication that England are going to go up the tempo. Got the best player out there in Joe Root, good player of spin. See what Virat Kohli does now. If Joe Root starts hitting a few boundaries. It's the first boundary for a long time, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah. Oh.
Jadeja is into Root, comes forward, pushes that into the offside. Jadeja moves across the field.
It's the first boundary since 2 balls before Burns was out, and he had back over for 4. So that was 19 overs ago.
It was about 11:35, though, wasn't it? I think. Around then, 11:40, that sort of time. It's a no ball, that last ball. So England have scored 5 runs from one legitimate delivery after lunch. So 136 for 2. Jadeja has been guilty of overstepping a couple of times. He's in once more, over the wicket to Root, and Root comes forward and tries to glide this past leg slip. I'll give you the field because it's an intriguing one. It's a 6-3 onside field. You have a leg slip, a forward short leg, a deep backward square or long leg really, a forward square leg, a short mid-wicket and a mid-on, all on the onside. Short, dabbed into the onside by Root to that forward square leg, who's about 2 yards in front of square, quite close to the umpire. There's a wide mid-off, a backward point and a slip. Those are the 3 fielders on the offside. Jadeja trots in and Root comes forward, pushes the ball into the offside, thinks about a single, but Shardul Thakur waddles his way somewhat to his left. He's not the most elegant or nimble of fielders. And there's no run. Jadeja in again, and Root just pads this away out of the foot marks, pushes into the offside. There's therefore no run as no shot is played. Root has 12. Hamid resuming on 62. He faced 187 balls. Did he score 19 runs, I think, in the morning session? Hamid. Jadeja in, short, dabbed into the onside, but can't beat that packed field. Well placed square leg, end of the over, 5 from it. England 136 for 2. Root 12, Hamid 62, and Michael, it's still extremely exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fantastic Test match, and I think those first 6 balls after lunch have just given me the impression that England absolutely are still going to have a go at this target, as they should. That opening session, I'd like to have seen just a little bit more intensity and a few more runs, because they've left a lot to do in the final 2 sessions of the Test match. I know it's probably quite hard, Andy, but what's the most amount of runs that a team has ever chased in the last session of a Test match?
Oh, he doesn't like that. What have you done to him?
That would be... The data's a bit incomplete. I'll see what I can find. I mean, India did chase quite a lot in Brisbane, didn't they, early this year? It was about 150, I think, wasn't it?
The last session?
I think so. I'll dig the scorecard up from that.
Jasprit Bumrah is into the attack from the pavilion end. This feels right, doesn't it, Michael? Kohli has started with his probably 2 biggest threats, hasn't he, here? Jadeja and Bumrah.
Yeah, I think I'd have gone seam against Joe Root for a couple of overs from this end. I thought Siraj bowled a tremendous spell from the pavilion end before lunch, bowled with aggression, got ball to kind of nip back onto the stumps of the right-handers.
Bumrah, here he is, his first ball. of this session into Hasib Hamid. Hamid comes forward and defends solidly into the offside. Hamid is really bringing the forward defence back into vogue, and he plays it with a rather eccentric, elegant beauty.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Joe Root in that first over with that reverse sweep and looking to score. I think we'll see in the next 20 minutes what the kind of message has been to Hasib Hamid. Is it to carry on just playing, or is it to just be a little bit busier?
Here is Bumrah shotting in towards Hamid. Those two widely spaced slips, and he drives into the offside square of the wicket. But as always with Hamid, aims to hit the ball into the ground first, and gets a single as it goes down a deep backward point, moves to 63.
India needed 145 in the last session in Brisbane and got them with 3 wickets to spare.
And how many overs to spare, rather crucially? Is that easy worked out, or perhaps not?
Give me a minute.
It's interesting you said about Hamid. Root always seemed to really enjoy batting with Sibley, who, as we know, went at a glacial pace. I wonder. We'll come back to that thought in a minute as Bumrah is in to Root. Root lets this go outside the off stump, quite close to off stump. Good, well judged leave. There's no run. Almost as if he felt sort of comforted by the notion of solidity at the other end and wasn't too bothered about him scoring, because he knew that when he was on strike he'd be able to manufacture runs. I don't know.
I just think 230 odd runs in the last 2 sessions, you're going to need a bit of action from both ends, I think.
I think you're right, even if it's just like rotating strike, isn't it, really? That's what we're talking about, not crashing boundaries. Bumrah into Root, flicks this away nicely down a deep backward square leg. They'll only get the 1 for it. There's a man out there, down with a deep backward square boundary. Root to 13, 138 for 2.
There were 37 overs left in that game, so they needed to go at 3.9 and over. England currently needs just over 3.7 and over.
How many overs were left in the tank at the end?
3, I think.
3. Right, so they actually went at around about 4, did they? In that last session to win it. Here's Bumrah into Hasib Hamid. And Hamid defends off the front foot. Probing straight delivery out into the covers. There's no run.
Yeah, 19.1 overs to go to that second new ball. I just think that's going to be the play in the game. India will try and get a couple before then, obviously. They'll be delighted if they do. But it may also give England more of an opportunity to score when that second new ball is taken. But I'm sure there'll be a little bit more movement, maybe the odd ball keeping low.
Well, especially if there's a set batter who's either, Root or Pope or someone like that. Bumrah is in and he's playing and missing at that. Oh, it's gone straight through Punt's hands. I don't think he got an edge on this. It was outside the off stump, but he was drawn into playing at it, was Hamid. We wait to see the umpire's signal. Buys. So, didn't get an edge, but Punt, it's lucky the ball didn't actually roll back onto the 2 helmets that were positioned behind him.
You get 10 if it hits both.
Good question.
Because it was very close to flipping the first one.
Now that actually did bite a little off the pitch. It was about a metre away from hitting the helmet sort of behind Punt. And to be clear, you get 5 penalty runs for that, don't you? Ooh, it was close. There was a regulation take, really, for Punt.
He's always laughing, isn't he, Rishabh? Even when he makes a mistake.
2 more to the total, 140 for 2 at the end of the over. Bumrah over, so Jadeja will resume. Root with a wide stance as Jadeja's coming over the wicket into those footholds, and he's gone for the reverse sweep. He's got it into the offside. It's a reverse paddle, really, and he's just got the 1 for it because he had to fetch it from quite wide of leg stump and turned it into what was then extra cover.
I'm amazed by the field. Look at this field. They've got 3 fielders. Got a short leg, a leg slip, an orthodox slip, but they've got 3 fielders on the onside in front of square, saving 1. Surely you'd want to open a gap up on that onside of Seta as he'd go and try and whip it through that gap out the rough.
Yeah, I mean he's going to struggle, isn't he, unless he gets it over the top. Short, dabs fine, square into the hands of short leg. This ball coming out of the rough. I think Root's reverse sweeping out of the rough is quite perilous. Gets a bit of bounce out of those footmarks. Jadeja in again. And he's got him, has he?
He has. Hasib's got to go. He came forward to a ball that's bitten out of the rough. It's taken the edge, and he's been caught at first slip. So England have lost their third wicket. Hasib Hamid goes. A clever bit of bowling from Jadeja, and is that a sign of things to come as Jadeja exploits these footmarks outside the right-hander's leg stump? England 141 for 3. He's bowled him. I beg your pardon, he's bowled him.
Yeah.
It came off the off stump and was taken at first slip. That is an extraordinary piece of bowling, because he's landed that right in the footmarks where he's been aiming. It's turned past the outside edge of Hamid, clipped the off stump, and landed in the hands of first slip.
Yeah, he was just trying to give himself a bit of space to work it on that offside to try and get the single, and he just went a little bit too far to the leg side. He played nicely, but in a funny kind of way. I think England have a better chance of winning. Now Hasib's actually out. Now you've got the likes of Ollie Pope, and
it's a bit like the wicket of Milan, isn't it? It sort of was feeling a little bit like that when Milan was out there, getting stodgy, getting stuck against.
It's one wicket closer to obviously Indians' victory, and they'll be happy with that. But I think if England really want to win this game and can chase down this target, Hasib's almost done his job. You know, he's kind of created this foundation for the likes of Pope, Bairstow, Moeen Ali, Joe Root himself, Chris Wokes. And another hour of Hasib just blocking it would have created that run rate going up a little bit too high. So,
but we're seeing there, Michael, just how difficult it is for the right-hander if they want to try and score against Jadeja.
Yeah,
I'm sure if you're only intent on staying there, if England were to lose, the 6th or 7th wicket, you can see the right-handers blocking it, padding it away outside the leg stump.
And this is why it's fascinating, because England, if they come out with more intent and look to score, they may lose 1 or 2 more wickets, and by the time that second new ball's taken, it might be that England are 5 down. And with 40 overs to go with that second new ball, India will certainly fancy the chances.
A rare wicket for Jadeja's first of the innings. Right, Pope is on strike. His first ball, he turns it into the onside. He's got the same field, it's leg slip, forward short leg, backwards square leg, almost like a long leg that's come in 20 yards off the boundary, catching mid-wicket, a deep set mid-on. Not a long on, but deep set mid on. Now, what's the umpire doing? He's having a chat with Kohli here. I don't know about what. Well, he's a bit of finger pointing. There's a bit of like.
He's not happy about something.
He's not happy about something. I don't know whether there's been some chat out there. Jadeja in again to Pope. Pope pads this away. That's what he can do. He first comes in.
I get a sense, Dan, with Virat that he likes going looking for
a fight,
a bit of a confrontation.
Yes. Well, it gets him going, and it gets the crowd going, and he feeds off that crowd, doesn't he? He was doing it quite a bit in the first session. Jadeja in short. Pope tries to whip it away. It's got a brisk delivery. All he can do is get a bit of thigh pad on it. Rolls down onto the onside end of the over. A wicket for Jadeja, and England 141 for 3. The man who's had to go, Hasib Hamid, for 63, and his Saltzman.
Hamid's 63 came from 193 balls with 6 fours, although he was very slow today, adding just 20 runs to his overnight score from 108 balls. So England lost 3 wickets for 41 in the last 22 overs. It was Jadeja's first wicket of the innings and his 23rd over, though he has kept it tight particularly today, going at just over 1 run and over. It's his first second innings wicket of the summer and his 50th second innings over.
Pressure on now for England, having lost that wicket. Bumrah in to Joe Root. And Root dabs this nicely down to backward point, a shot we've seen from Root so many times, the tiniest amount of whip, and he just plays an economical late shot, just dabbing down into a gap, picking up a run, bringing Pope onto strike. Root to 15. England 142 for 3. It was interesting that Hamid's dismissal there. He could so easily have been padding that away. Was he trying to play that because he was actually trying to find the run?
Trying to score.
Trying to get the run into the offside.
Yeah, trying to rotate the strike.
And that'll be part of the dynamic today. England trying to score on what is a mostly blameless pitch, but those footmarks for Jadeja could come into play. Bumrah is into Pope, who pushes forward in defence, solid defence, and gets the ball out into the covers.
That's why the chase India produced in Brisbane. I was watching that, and the pitch on the last day still had a bit of pace in it. You were seeing plenty of drives and cut shots. Whereas this pitch now, it's got really no pace, and you have to force the issue as the batter. Not seeing too many kind of flowing drives, are we?
No,
on the up.
It's not quite as bad as the Lords was in that New Zealand test. It's not quite deadened to that extent. Bumrah is into Pope, who does drive into the ground, and Rahane fields in the covers. Pope looking to score. He could have left that, but he's gone after it.
Well, England are definitely showing the right intent in terms of trying to get after India to get this target.
Milky Sunshine re-emerges.
Kohli's very vocal. He's strolling around from first slip. Who's that at mid-wicket? Is it Mayank Agarwal? Seems to be having a nice conversation with him.
Here's Bumrah on the pavilion end. Pope flicks this away straight to that short mid-wicket, who flicks it himself towards the stumps, the non-striker's end, because Root had just come out of his ground brief. It's Surya Kumar Yadav.
Look at Virat. Look at him down.
Yeah, he's right there. He's walked right up to almost to Pope, but he's talking to Surya Kumar Yadav. When a wicket falls, Kohli really comes into his own. At least the next half an hour, he's all over the batter. He's creating the theatre and the drama. Back goes Siraj down to the deep backward point, leaving a gap free for Pope if he's interested. And the slips come closer together. Bumrah in. Pope defends on the front foot, pushes back to the bowler. Fields in his follow through. There's just a little bit of manufactured needle coming into play now. Pope yet to get off the mark. Made a good 81 in the first innings. Was out dragging on. It was a slightly casual shot. He was in. He was seeing it really well, and there was a soft old ball, wasn't it? Was it Thakur? Just hung it out there to dry, and he went for the dab down to deep third or backward point, and he's been offered that now. I wonder if that's what Bumrah's thinking here. He's into Pope. Pope drives square of the wicket. Lovely, handsome shot. Should pick up two. He does as Siraj runs around from backward point to square cover out on the boundary. Pope's off the mark. England 144 for 3 at the end of the over. Root has 15.
Yeah, and with this ball now into the end of the 63rd over, that was a glorious drive, but it went nowhere really. It's quite hard to, when that ball gets a little bit newer, that would have been a 4. A fly to the boundary. So it's not easy for England to find the boundaries with this older ball.
But then India will take that new ball, you would imagine. It's 17 overs away, so it's well over an hour away. They just want to make sure, England, that they've got set batters when that does happen.
Yeah, I like this from Virat Kohli. He's brought one of the fielders from the onside to the offside. But extra cover probably goes quite square, because they'll fancy if Joe Root's going to continue to play the reverse sweep. So he could
hold out there, couldn't he?
He could be caught there. He'll probably take on the orthodox sweep now, because there's no 45 deep, so the top edge shouldn't be in the game.
Jadeja, and he does. Sweeps. First ball out of the rough. It's almost like you've seen this game before, Michael. And thuds off the pad, rolls out into the onside.
Just got to be careful that he doesn't get one round his legs.
Yeah.
His pad's in the way there nicely.
There's a leg slipper, forward short leg, deep backward square leg. Jadeja in, he goes back into his crease and gets a thick inside edge that lands just in front of, I think it's KL Rahul down there. But, leg slip.
It's nearly a catch.
Was. Just seeing the replay on that, unfortunately, that doesn't tell us how close it was to the fielder. Jadeja in over the wicket. He's caused problems since lunch, and Root just kicks this one away. He's having nothing to do with that.
Yeah, with the way that Joe Root plays spin, you feel that he's going to have to, it's quite obvious with the way that he's been playing, but he's going to have to stay out there for a long period of time, because not many will be able to play it as well as he can.
Jadeja in, back into his crease goes Root. Good judgment of length, and just dabs it into the onside. There's no run again. 58 overs remain in the day's play after this one. India needs 7 wickets. Root sweeps a full toss down to deep backward square leg. There's a fielder stationed there. Come through for one more. 145 for 3. Root to 15.
Yeah, you're looking at Ollie Pope's good player spin, but he won't have too much experience of facing left arm spinners firing it into the rough. Johnny Bairstow. First pace on the ball, really.
Jadeja into Pope. Pope comes forward and defends solidly. Back up the wicket to Jadeja. That's the end of the over. 145 for 3. Root has 16. Pope has 2. And the clock has ticked round to 2 o'clock. 223 more required for an England win. 7 wickets for an India win. Michael,
Yeah, I'm
your
just going
thoughts on a tempestuous first 20 minutes after lunch, and then I shall be replaced by Ishikawa.
Well, I'm just seeing that Sam Billings, who was in the squad this week, he nips off to play for Kent, and he's struck 72 from 98 deliveries. Kent playing Worcestershire, so that's nice for Sam Billings to get out there and get a bit of middle time. 145 for 3. The target's 368. Bumrah, 13 overs, 0 for 19 so far. Afternoon, Ish.
Afternoon. Michael?
Fancy England, don't you? That's what you just said to
At
me.
the start of the day, yeah, and at lunch, yeah. I thought they might come out with a bit more intent. They have, but unfortunately they've lost a wicket as Root is on strike to Bumrah, who's passed the stumps to Root, who's defending back to mid-on. Heavy cloud cover here in South London. Plenty of people in. It's a sellout, day 5 of this test match, and there's a lot on the line. There's 2 men back on the leg side, slipping a gully in position. Third man, who's very, very square, almost a backward deep point. There's a cover mid-off and mid-on, as well as a mid-wicket. As Bumrah will continue from the pavilion end. Shadow on an angle to him as he shuffles forwards. Root defending to the offside. I just heard Virat Kohli on the stump mic, Michael, to Ollie Pope. I promise you, if you make a mistake, then you lose England the game after a shot outside the off stump.
So Ollie Pope makes a mistake, and that's it. The game's gone. It's all on him.
Yeah.
It's a bit harsh. What about the others?
I suppose that's it, isn't it? That's the contest, and he's trying to get into his head.
Yeah, that's good. That's fine. That's good banter. Got to be able to cope with that out in the middle.
Bumrah to Root into the back foot, guiding it to point, and they'll sprint through for 1.
See, that fielder, I believe, should be Jadeja, and he should be left-handed. Because you know the way Joe Root plays, you know he's going to try and dab it into that offside. If you've got a left-hander there who could kind of swoop, pick it up in his left hand and throw the ball all in one action, which Jadeja could do.
Is that Rahane there at the moment at extra cover? Yeah,
it's right-handed, so he has to run round, doesn't he, to get the ball.
Yeah.
Where's Jadeja? Where's he gone?
So Root's gone to 17, 146 for 3 England. Pope, bat hovering a stump high, still in his crease, deep into his crease as he's forwards and defending back down the pitch, looking solid.
I bet he's loving this Ollie Pope.
Yeah, this is a chance to be a hero, isn't it?
He worships Joe Root.
Right.
Wants to be Joe. Now batting with him.
Yeah, and he's now approaching batting like him as well, with the way he gets back into his crease, rather than that kind of step across to the off stump in his trigger movements. He's got the collar up as well, just like Joe.
Yeah, like it. Got to look cool.
Gentle bat tap, crouching, bowled! Jasprit Bumrah through his defences. And now you would sense that India believe. England 146 for 4. And Ollie Pope, slow walk back.
Well, 2 wickets inside 24 minutes of the afternoon session. Just watching this delivery on the... See, it's just gone straight through him. That angle that he creates, Bumrah, and the angle into the right-hander, it just goes straight on. Clips Ollie Pope's pads and onto the stumps. Threw him a bit quickly, actually. He goes for 2 from 11. What a start to the afternoon for India.
That's Jasprit Bumrah's 100th Test wicket. He's the fastest Indian seamer to reach 100 Test wickets in terms of matches played. His average is currently 22.9, which is the best average of any Indian bowler, pace or seam, on reaching their 100th wicket. And he's got almost all of them away from home. He has one of the best records away from home of any Test bowler since the Second World War.
Well, the recent Test series in India, that was his first series at home in ages. So 100 Test wickets As Johnny Bairstow appears onto the field here at the Kia Oval. There was a huge applause that went around the ground. There was a big graphic that came up of Jasprit Bumrah's achievement, and he has been brilliant for India over the last few years.
England keep going, thinking that they can.
No, I think do they reassess now?
I think they've
They
got
have
to give
to
themselves
reassess, consolidate.
Consolidate for 10, 15 overs with this pair if they can. Just hang in there and just see where it takes them. Can't risk too much now. That second new ball due. One thing's sure, when that second new ball is taken, they're going to need a couple of players that have been out there. You won't want to lose a wicket towards that second new ball. It just goes straight through him there. Again, I've just seen it on the replay. It's just an angle, went straight through Ollie Pope. It's Test cricket for you, isn't it? Playing nicely in the first innings. Have to wait a couple of days to have another knock. Coming under a huge amount of pressure, and you get two. Get a decent cherry.
It's amazing, this game, isn't it? Last night, England getting to stump 77 without loss. This morning they were looking good, then prizing out a wicket.
He's got to be careful here. Sir Johnny Bairstow's renowned for getting those pads in the way these days. He's been bowled so many times, and they're going to target those pads.
His line of vision, Jasprit Bumrah, he's going to be visualising. There's almost a hole in the pads of Johnny Bairstow as he zones in on them. There he goes, and he's forward and defending to the offside. Johnny Bairstow at the end of the over, 146 for 4. 65 overs have been bowled. 15 overs to that second new ball then. Target of 368 for England.
Our commentary box here at the over, because there's a section to our left of, I don't know whether it's debenture holders or. Well, I like them when they walk past the window and the guys just walk by with a nice cool pair of shades. He just gave the nod. Like just a little nod as if to say England are in a bit of trouble, I think. That was my reading of
assessment.
That kind of nod. Nice chap down here having a burger and chips.
Well, if you're just tuning in, all the momentum with India, they'll be smelling blood at the moment. If they can remove Joe Root, they'll be all over England here. Slip, short leg, and a leg slip around the corner. And this is a good battle. Root is such a good player of spin. Jadeja, all the expectation on his shoulders, the left arm spinner. There's a bit of rough outside the leg stump. Root forwards and padding the ball away to the offside.
Well, let's see if Joe Root plays any sweep shots this over.
It's a deep backward square, almost at fine leg for Joe Root. And short leg has just shifted across to the offside, to Silly Point. And now
see, I'd have a short 45 for the sweep. You know, it's a free sweep, really. Oh, he's going to come around the wicket, but even still, that mid wicket there, I think it's Virat. I'd go to 45 for the top edge sweep shot, and almost encourage Joe Root to play that hard sweep that he likes to play. Oh, moving. Where's he going?
Silly Point's moving back to leg slip. Jadeja around the wicket, the left arm spinner forwards and driving the ball to cover Joe Root. Just need a bit of calm here, don't they? England. Just like the weather conditions, flags limp above the pavilion as Root is forwards and working the ball to mid-wicket off the front foot. It's been an amazing test match when you think India bowled out for 191. Slightly fuller as Root guides the ball to mid-wicket again, just working it with his wrists.
Definitely gone back down in the gears, Joe Root. He knows he's just got a bit of time now.
Spins the bat in his hand as he sets himself up back down on the ground as he's up and forwards and smothering the ball back down the pitch. Yeah, England, they got off to a quick start this morning, and then the wicket of Burns kind of just reined it in again. The second slowest scoring rate of any session this test match going into lunch. Came out with intent immediately after as Root looks to sweep. Is it bat onto pads? Jadeja turns to appeal.
Not out.
And now we're having a chat to Rishabh Pant. Virat Kohli's come forwards. It was given not out.
It's Joe
Timer
Root.
ticking down.
It's Joe Root.
India with 2 reviews left. They've already burned one.
It's Joe
And he's
Root
going for
again.
it with 1 second left.
He plays to it, doesn't he, Virat? I'd be amazed if this is pitched in line.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review for LBW. On-field decision is not out. It's a fair delivery. Front on spin vision, please.
Joe Root looks a bit concerned here.
He was looking to sweep the ball. Quite full. Where did it pitch? No bat involved.
Okay, there appears to be no bat involved. Can we confirm that with the Ultra Edge, please?
This will confirm whether there's an inside edge.
And where's it pitched, Isha? That's the key.
Yeah.
Left arm over.
All the way through to the pad, please, Mark. Keep going past the glove.
He moved back over for
Okay,
that
there's
ball.
no bat involved, so ball tracking when available, please.
This will tell us whether it's out or not. Pitching outside
Pitching
leg.
outside leg stump, Richard. So I'll get you to stay with your original decision of not out. I'll let you know when you're on screen.
So another burned review for India. They have one left. I wonder how important that's going to be. 146 for 4 England. India need a further 6 wickets. And how many runs do they need, Andy? England?
They need 222.
Yeah, I think that's a long way off at this stage. India have got to be careful. They've done it throughout the series with Joe Root. Because it's Joe Root, they kind of gamble. I always fancy that when a left-arm spinner's bowling over the wicket, unless it's the arm ball, it wasn't the arm ball, it was still a left-arm spinning delivery. It's not a great review, that. Always got to remind yourself, I reckon, as a captain, that the reviews were brought in for the howler. Real bad decision. That certainly wasn't one of those.
Oh, that's one that bowler and keeper should know,
Yeah.
really.
You got Rishabh, haven't you?
What are you saying? Inexperience.
Well, I just think he just laughs. He's not always concentrating.
Bumrah into Bairstow, beats the edge through to punt. Channel delivery just outside off, and I think that natural angle in deceived him. He wanted to play the ball, it just left him off the seam.
Yeah, just to go back to Headingley in 2019, that the Australians, the way that they use the review, it's so important that you keep them in your locker. England have now got a 3% chance on Wimbledon, India 45%, the draw 52%.
Yeah, that's just increased after those last couple of wickets. Bairstow with 2 slips. Bumrah bowls, Bairstow defends to the offside.
What made me laugh with the review is obviously it gets through, so Richard Illingworth gives it not out, but Joe Root was a bit panicky and he asked Richard Illingworth, he went, is that out? Well, obviously I've given you not out, so I don't think it's out. You could see him asking him.
He's just looking at his pad at the moment. Joe Root in the non-striker's end. Bairstow pulls away. Bit of movement in the background. 2 men back on the leg side. Michael Vaughan is slipped out. In comes Deep Dasgupta. Quite timely as Bumrah shuffles forwards. Bowls forward, bowled again. Jasprit Bumrah is ripping through this England lineup. India come together. And the fans are elated. We can hear them all here at the Oval. Deep Dasgupta. India, 5 wickets down now, England. 146 on the board and 5 more to get.
That's brilliant bowling from Bumrah. Right up there, Yorker. Perfect Yorker. It's a very, very difficult ball as a batter, and especially just come to the crease. And Johnny Bairstow goes without scoring. And England in a lot of trouble now with 146 for 5. And Bumrah, what a spell this has been. Oli Pope last over he bowled, and now Johnny Bairstow is up for it. Goes to 101 in the process as well. Test wickets, the fastest Indian seamer to that mark. It's only 24th Test match. And think about it, when he came into the scene, he was looked as predominantly a white ball bowler. A lot of people were surprised when he was picked for the Test squad in 2018 to South Africa. More so when he played the first Test match.
Well, this is interesting now for England. How do they approach it? Moeen Ali coming out to the middle. I just think if it's a case of survival, then they might struggle, but What will they look to do here, Deep?
You still have to play a natural game. You can't just defend and get your shutters down and survive. Quite a few overs still left in the day. Still look to score runs. Anisha, to be honest, I was actually thinking of why not Moeen Ali at number 5? You can have that left-hand, right-hand combination, and somebody like Moeen who's in good white ball form as well. Because at that point in time, when Hamid got out, England still had a chance of winning this test match. I mean, they still do, but more so back then.
No, I just think if England had any hope with that door open, it's just been slammed shut with those 2 wickets. Jasprit Bumrah outstanding. I have to ask you about those dismissals though, because Johnny Bairstow, full delivery on the pads. Ollie Pope, just a straight ball. Well, crowd are behind Jasprit Bumrah here. Plenty of Indians here. As Moeen Ali is on strike, struck on the pad, but quite high up. And if you're feeling tired as a bowler, if you're feeling fatigued on day 5 when he's played in 4 test matches, the second most balls he's bowled in a test series, all of a sudden he's just gained that extra bit of energy. Jasprit Bumrah, 2 slips in a gully in position for Moeen Ali.
Tired who? He just picked 2 wickets. He's far from being tired now, Jasprit Bumrah.
Here he comes again, hustling forwards into his stride, round the wicket to Moeen Ali, who very calmly defends to the offside off the front foot. Andy, I've been trying to come to you for a stat for a couple of overs.
Well, I was
now.
just going to give you an update on the required run
right,
rate.
okay.
Which, with the ball that dismissed Johnny Bairstow in this remarkable spell by Bumrah on a pitch where, was it 15 wickets had fallen in about the last 260 odd overs, hit the stumps twice. The run rate went to exactly 4 an over required, although there's just 5 wickets left. That may be academic.
Just seen something on the screen there, Deep, as Bumrah is in to Moeen Ali, full, just about gets the bat down in time, squeezes it out. He is in full death mode at the moment, Jasprit Bumrah. 146 for 5 then. India need 5 more wickets at the end of the over. They'll be glad that over was over. But I saw something on the screen there. More movement in this session compared to the last one. A lot more movement.
I think it also boils down to how the batsman's batting as well, isn't it? I mean, at times it seems that way because of the game situation. Suddenly you've picked up a wicket or 2. You get that extra wind in your sail, and you're running in harder, your body's moving well, because a lot of that movement is because of the action as well, because you're tired and nothing much is happening, you kind of give up, your body's not moving as well as it should.
Well, Joe Root's been watching the carnage unfold. He's facing Jadeja, opens the face, guides it to wide mid-off, they'll come through for 1. So Moeen Ali now with 5 balls to face of Jadeja into the rough, 147 for 5. Root moves to 18.
Yeah, going back to that Ollie Pope dismissal, and I completely agree. Nothing much happened with that, was it? I mean, just a little tail back into his pads.
Just late on it.
Yeah, it was just late on it. And obviously might have stayed a little low. Might have. But then, yeah, I mean, you expect someone of his caliber to keep it away. Almost the same kind of dismissal Ajinkya, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very identical.
Maybe all that nervous energy waiting as Moeen Ali is out. First ball from Jadeja. Well, this is happening very quickly for India at the moment. Bowling straight, a little bit of turn. Moeen Ali coming forwards, catches the inside edge into short leg. England 6 down. India need 4 more.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. As far as Jadeja is concerned, left arm spinner to a left-hander into the rough, inside half of the bat, and Surya Kumar Yadav, the substitute fielder at short leg, makes no mistake. Jadeja picks up his 2nd, and England lose Moeen Ali, another batter who hasn't opened his account. 147 for 6, England.
Well, a few more words from you, Deep. Doesn't feel too far away at the moment for India. 4 wickets to get, and then it will be Simon Mann.
Yeah, that's true. Indian fans are extremely happy, and so they should be. So this game, the whole game's kind of changed in the last 5-10 overs. A couple of wickets for Bumrah, then Jadeja getting into the act as well. It's all happening right now for India, and the momentum is clearly with India right now. Jadeja was bowled really well since this morning. He's almost bowled continuously from the media end, and he's bowled well.
4 wickets for 6 in the last 41 balls.
Well, you were raging against the wind viz at lunchtime. You didn't tell me it was going to be over before tea.
No, I mean, listen, this has happened before. I mean, when wickets start falling on day 5 on conditions like these, and then they come in bunches, then that's what's happening here. Especially, it's not the easiest pitches to bat on for a left-hander, to be honest.
147 for 6. England are subsiding very rapidly. Joe Root is still there, and Chris Wokes is in at number 8. So Overton, Robinson and Anderson to come. There are still 54.4 overs left for India to win this match and go 2-1 up in the series. It's going to be Jadeja to bowl. 4 men around the bat, and here is Jadeja into bowl to Wokes, and Wokes is back and then half forward, playing defensively into the offside, and Jadeja picks up away to his left-hand side. He will be feeling much better about life now than when Mohammad Siraj dropped Hamid before lunch. Jadeja got a couple of good wickets. Bowls to Wokes, who offers the pad. The ball goes ballooning away into the offside. And they are good wickets as well for a spinner, ripping one past the outside edge, finding the inside edge as well. Lovely ways for a spinner to get a wicket, bowling a player out. Wokes lets that one go down the leg side, and it's taken by Punt away to his left.
This was always going to be a very important day for Jadeja and Virat for taking that call of playing Jadeja the only spinner.
Jadeja goes into bowl to Wokes, and Wokes pushes this through the offside for 1. They might come back for a second. They are going to come back for a second. Umesh Yadav, a slightly laboured run after it, but we'll forgive him that because it's been hard work for fast bowlers in this game. Anyway, runs don't really matter now. Not really. 149 for 6. And India it looks as if they brought off a remarkable turnaround in this game, from 127 for 7, from 99 behind on first innings, and even yesterday from just over 200 ahead with 4 wickets left. So I suppose England might say, well, look, India managed it yesterday, those last 4 wickets, can we do it today? But it's so different, the psychology of the game is so different. And Cheteshwar Pujara saying after 3 days 250 would be difficult to chase. Well, it's 149 for 6. Right, Root is on strike, he's still there, he's 18 not out, and Bumrah is looking for another one. It's castled 2 since lunch, bowls to Root, and Root is back playing into the onside towards mid-wicket, and there is no run. And it feels like Root against India. Well, it's felt like that all summer actually, to be fair.
That's true, but then again, if on the surface is still good to bat on. I mean, especially for a right-hander. Jadeja is the biggest threat on this surface, and if you have to put the shutters down, I mean, you'd expect the right-handers to kind of see through the day.
Yeah, I think it's going to be shutters down now, just occasionally peeping out, and that's about it. But the shutters are going to be down. Bumrah bowls, Root plays defensively, back up the onside of the pitch. England just got, 53 times 6 to chalk off. I always look to you, Andy, in this situation.
318.
318, okay, 322 balls to chalk off from here. So India 4 balls from victory, England 322 from a draw. That's how you've got to look at it, or one way of looking at it anyway, and it looks a very unbalanced equation, that.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Root or Chris Wokes would be thinking on those lines.
Not yet, no.
Yeah,
just play and see what happens, Right, 2 short mid-wickets in now for Root. India supporters getting behind Bumrah as he comes in from the pavilion end. Bowl to England's captain. He's with him now, and Root lets that one go by outside the off stump. Tremendous support again for India today. The best support they've had during the game on this final day, as it was at Lord's. The noise of the crowd on the final day, it inspired the team. He had that own inner strength as well, I think, from some of the battles that were going on in that test match.
True, and also Virat coming in and playing the choreographer as well from time to time.
Yeah, he's got another career. He's got plenty of careers if he wants them. He could do that as well. The conductor of the Barrett Army. Bumrah bowls to Root. Root thinks about playing and then lets that one go by outside the off stump. Taken by Pant. The Indian supporters are almost expecting, demanding a wicket every ball here.
Yeah, the dhols are out. The drums, the Indian version of them. The dhols are out, and obviously the colourful dresses and everything else, the tricolour. Yeah, it's been really good last half an hour for India.
Pope out for 2, Bairstow for 0, Moeen Ali for 0, and Hamid for 63 since lunch. 131 for 2 at lunch, now it's 149 for 6. Bumrah goes in, bowls to Root. Root gets a very full ball, and it goes behind to Pant. He inspects the bottom of his bat. How did that miss the stumps?
Oh, he did well to keep it out. This is another almost perfect Yorker from Bumrah. And that's what he's done. He's brought his white ball skills to red ball cricket as well. That's beautifully bowled and really well done as far as Joe Root's concerned, to just keep that away.
It went underneath his bat, just past the off stump. I thought that had to bowl him. Why hadn't it bowled him? But the bails were still on. Brilliant delivery from Bumrah. He's bowled a good Yorker to get rid of Bairstow. He castled Pope as well. And Root just clinging on here. 149 for 6, 89 miles an hour that last one. Bumrah goes in, bowls to Root, and Root again inspects his bat there as he plays that defensively. Goes into the onside towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. And Root just about clinging on in that over. 149 for 6. There are 53 overs left in this test match.
And just going back to Bumrah, I mean, the Yorker, the slower delivery. One he got Ollie Robinson the last test match, the slower delivery from him. Yeah, he doesn't shy away from bowling those predominantly white ball cricket deliveries, because he's actually so good in white ball as well. I mean, at times we don't appreciate enough how good he is. He's, as far as India is concerned, he's Virat Kohli with the ball.
It's a great description of him. Yeah, he's gone past 100 wickets today as well. Here is Jadeja bowling to Wokes. He stretches forward and plays that back down the pitch. Jadeja picks up, and there is no run. Well, Chris Wokes has had a very good game so far. 7 wickets for 138. Jadeja bowls to Wokes, plays defensively into the offside, and a half century in the first innings. But he almost needs to step up even more now, to raise this game even more here if England have a chance of saving this match. Jadeja bowls to Wokes, who comes solidly forward, bat and pad close together, pushes away on the offside. Jadeja goes to his left to pick up 4 fielders around the bat. There's a gully and a slip, forward short leg and a leg slip. Jadeja over the wicket, pushes that one through to Wokes, who's back into his stumps, playing defensively into the offside, out towards cover. And there's no run. Wokes was saying the other evening about how much he's loved being back, how much he's enjoyed this test match. He's got the vibe. Here is Jadeja bowling, Jeremy back into his stumps, playing defensively again towards a short leg, because he's just been at home watching on television, envious really of seeing what was going on in the series, the cut and thrust, the to and fro. And they're happy to be involved, and he has had a good game, as I mentioned. Now he's got to produce something really special. Jadeja's changing his angle of attack here. He's going to come round the wicket to Wokes, who was keeping him out, or has been keeping him out fairly comfortably so far. So the leg slip has come out, and there's now a silly point and a forward short leg and 2 slips.
It's more orthodox now. Jadeja coming round.
Jadeja goes in to bowl to Wokes, and Wokes gets a ball on the pads there, but he turns around the corner, but straight to backward square leg, and there is no run. It's the end of the over. 52 overs remaining in the day's play, and the score is 149 for 6. Root has 18, Wokes has 2. Results?
Still a little more on Jasprit Bumrah, who, as Deep said, He became the fastest Indian to 100 Indian pace bowler to 100 Test wickets in just his 24th match. Mentioned his average was the best of any Indian bowler. Compare him with other Indian seamers who've reached 100. Kapil Dev averaged 26 for his first 100 wickets, and all the others, Irfan Pathan, Mohammad Shami, Javagal Srinath, Ishant Sharma, Karsan Gavri and Umesh Yadav all averaged over 30. So, I mean, I think you could probably make an argument he's India's best ever fast bowler already. Is it too early to say that?
A little too early. I'd still go with Kapil Dev. I mean, if you think about, obviously, 400 plus Test wickets, but also most of those Test wickets were on subcontinental pitches.
Just to remind us how many Test wickets Kapil Dev finished with.
I think it was 431 or something.
430s in 430.
Javagal Srinath was a decent pace bowler as well. Here is Bumrah moving in to bowl to Root, and Root pushes into the offside. Just a hint of a single there, but he says no to Wokes. It's a bit too close to Rahane coming round from cover.
Just going back to Kapil Paji, I mean, that's what we call him. The fact that he was an outswing bowler. Everyone knew that he's going to bowl an outswing, but still he would manage to pick wickets. I think very late in his career he started bowling that in-dipper or in-swinger. Yeah, what a legend.
Yeah, he wasn't bad with the bat either.
Absolutely.
Here is Bumrah going into bowl to Root, and Root plays defensively back up the onside of the pitch there. Just that ball before, I think they could have taken a single, but it might well be that Root was saying, I'll take Bumrah for now. You get yourself in. Let's give yourself some time. I'll see if I can see off Bumrah. There's a possibility of a single there on the offside. I don't think it might have been protecting Wokes.
It could be, because he's not looking that busy anymore, is he? I mean, generally he would always look to pick a single, open the face of the bat, because there are singles available, especially in that point region where he's so good at.
Second new ball is under 10 overs away now. Bumrah pitter-patter steps, then the swing of the arm goes in and bowls to Root. Root lets that one go outside the off stump. It's taken by Pant. England in full defence mode now.
Kapil finished his career with 434 wickets in 131 tests, average 29.6, 23 5-wicket hauls, and played a huge amount of draws in his career, which shows the difficulty of the pitches that he was bowling on.
How many did Javagal Srinath finish with? A decent haul as well, from memory. Here is Bumrah. It's past 100 now, goes in and bowls to Root. It's full. Root drives up towards mid-off, and there's no run. I suppose one thing you still have to be positive in your defence as well. It's not just all about blocking. The field all comes in, doesn't it?
Because that positive mindset is so important, even when you're defending, as you mentioned, because you still want your body positioning to be correct, and you're not late on the ball. So if you don't have that positive mindset, tend to be a little late, and then things don't go right.
149 for 6. Bumrah tries again, goes into bowl to Root. It's a short ball. Root ignores it, plays it pretty well. It was a good one from Bumrah. Root plays the pull shot after the ball has ended up in Pant's gloves. It would have been a risky one, because he would be taking it from outside the off stump. There's a man back as well on the deep backward square leg boundary, but there's not a fine leg in for Root. There's a deep backward point on the boundary, or deep third on the boundary. Two close catches on the onside, two orthodox slips, no gully. Bumrah bowls to Root, full. There's that Yorker. Root digs it out again. Bottom of the bat inspection from Root. Well, it served you all right there, Joe. Kept the ball out of the stumps. But there's another fantastic Yorker from Bumrah, and Root was equal to it. 149 for 6 at the end of the over. There are 51 overs left in the match now. Really well played by Root. Well bowled as well.
Going back to Javagal Srinath, he was quick as well. I mean, first few years he was rapid.
He took 236 wickets for India in 67 test, average fractionally over 30.
Yeah, the other important thing what Kapil Dev did was be a fast bowling icon for India. Generally it's been either spinner or batters. So after that you've seen a lot more fast bowlers coming through because of him, I think, to a great extent because of him.
Yeah, well, they're hard pitches to bowl quick on, aren't they? Or to bowl pace on. Here's new over from Jadeja, and Wokes offers the pad to it. He's gone back over the wicket for now. Ravi Jadeja's in his 28th over. He's taken 2 for 49. Here is Jadeja. Bowls to Wokes. Wokes plays that with the bat this time. How many overs has Bumrah bowled in this spell?
6 in this spell. He's taken 2 for 6 with 3 maidens.
Might be it. Might be it for now. Jadeja bowls to Wokes. Wokes plays defensively towards short leg.
Might be one more, especially if Chris Wokes on strike. As long as it's Joe Root, might not be.
Jadeja bowls to Wokes, and Wokes plays back down the pitch, and there's no run. Yeah, and Jadeja can bowl at one end, and you can rotate the seamers at the other. He got the new ball, I suppose, but then he has got options with the new ball. Here's Wokes blocking back down the pitch. He'd like Bumrah to bowl all afternoon if he could.
Yeah.
Well, that's asking a bit too much, obviously.
But Jadeja can also bowl with the new ball. I mean, he's used to bowling with the new ball, especially in India.
Jadeja to Wokes. Wokes back playing defensively. Jadeja arms in the air, but no spit from the rough there. He might not have landed it on the rough, in actual fact. And Wokes are negotiating that over. So another one ticks by. 50 overs left, so still half a day's play. More than half a day's play left yet. And England have lost 6 wickets today. Burns 50, Hamid 63, Malan run out for 5, Pope 2, Bairstow 0, Moeen Ali 0. The middle order just blown away in the middle of the afternoon.
It's one of the worst performances by an England 5, 6, 7 in Test history in terms of team innings, where all 3 have been dismissed. Only the 8th time that they've totalled 2 runs or fewer, and the 3rd time in a home Test. They did so against Ireland at Lords in 2019 and against New Zealand and Edgbaston in 1999, and they ended up winning both of those games. The difference being they were in the first innings, not the 4th.
Right, what are we seeing here? We are seeing a change. It's Root on strike, so perhaps Kohli said, yeah, we're going to take Bumrah off. Bumrah's gone down to be in field in front of the Bharat Army down there, away to our right-hand side. And they are sitting in their seats with their arms folded. No, they're not. They're standing up and applauding him, cheering him. Why not as well? It's broken the game open for India this afternoon. It's going to be Siraj to bowl.
Yeah, Siraj bowled a good spell before this as well. I thought he was very, very good. Quick and sharp.
He's got 2 short mid-wickets as Bumrah had, but only 1 slip. Siraj goes in and bowls to Root. Root gets one on the hip and he nudges it away down to deep back with square leg, and Root gets a single and brings up England's 150. Slim pickings really in the celebration stakes. Long way away. But under 50 overs now left in this day's play. So Chris Wokes comes down, I think this end for the first time, and there's a quick chat at the mid-pitch with Joe Root, but at least Root has seen Bumrah off for now.
Yeah, and that's such an important part of Test match cricket as well, isn't it? At times you have to see through spells like that. Just make sure you don't lose more wickets.
Wokes composing himself, doing some gardening. He settles over his bat, an extra slip in, so 2 slips. Kohli and Rahul in at slip, and 2 short mid-wickets. Siraj goes in and bowls to Wokes. Wokes is struck on the pad, but it's angling down the leg side, looked to turn it, missed it, hit the pad. Went out to Agarwal, who's fielding at mid-wickets. There's Agarwal, the 2 sub-fielders, Agarwal and Suryakumar Yadav. Can have a chat there in that short mid-wicket position. In fact, they are having a chat. It's perhaps working out how close they should be, I don't know.
Or who's going to be in front, because they're almost the same line right now. Very close to each other.
Siraj to Wokes. Wokes is solidly forward, playing it back up the pitch, and Siraj stops it and then walks back to his mark. Someone else can do the fielding.
And both of them have contributed as well. Mayank with a run out, and then Surya with that catch.
Yeah, we've seen no Rohit Sharma or Cheteshwar Pujara in this second innings. I wonder if they'll be fit for Old Trafford. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. Rahani's place must be under threat, I would have thought.
Yes, definitely yes.
Here's Siraj. Oh, well, he went to bowl there and he released it. Must have lost his footing. Who would come in for Rahane then? Who's the most likely to come in?
Hanuma Vihari.
Right.
Hanuma Vihari straight swap, middle order batter for a middle order batter. Now the out of the box thought could be Jadeja's batting at number 5. Shardul's batting as well as he is. Why not get Ashwin in?
So play 4 pace bowlers and 2 spinners.
Yeah. Just a thought. Again, it's out of the box thinking, but yeah.
Siraj bowls to Wokes. Wokes solidly forward, plays towards silly mid-on, picked up by Surya Kumar Yadav, and there's no run. Old Trafford, there's normally some bounce and spin at Old Trafford. So would India want a bit more batting? I mean, it's probably what they think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like I said, the obvious choice would be Hanuman Vihari for Rahane, but just a thought there.
Vihari bowls some spin though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does bowl off spin, you're right. And he's been seriously bowling in the nets off spin. I see him every now and then bowling his off spinners.
Siraj to Wokes. Wokes plays defensively to silly mid-on again. Vihari played here 3 years ago.
He took 3 wickets in that game.
Yeah. I think he scored some runs as well in the second innings. Did he score a half century? I think he did in the second innings. It's not easy getting into this Indian side. You could put out a second team that would be pretty competitive.
Yeah.
You have so many fixtures, India. Perhaps you could. Well, they did do that, didn't they? In Sri Lanka, they sent a second team over there.
Yeah. But quite a few regular white ball players were part of that as well.
It's fair to say the talent pool is quite wide. Siraj again loses his run up. He's about to deliver and pulled out of it.
It's got to be the foot marks there. Jimmy Anderson, who struggled a bit with those foot marks from that end. I think that's what's bothering Mohammad Siraj as well.
And he has to walk back for the 8th time in this over. Sun's out, bit of cloud above. The light is good. But not that India have been rapidly through their overs today, so we will have some extra time if we go the distance. The light should be good enough at the back end of the day. Siraj moves in now to complete the over bowls to Wokes, who drives, miscues the drive really, back to the bowler who fields. There's no run. It's the end of the over. A few more thoughts from you, Deep, and then it will be Jonathan Agnew.
Thank you, Simon. I mean, it's, again, the last half an hour, it's been so good, and would be relieved to a certain extent, especially the way things have gone for Jadeja. I think Virat's been really good as well with his captaincy, the bowling changes that he's made. I was very impressed with his field placement as well in the first session, where the game was still in a balance in the first session, where he was attacking from one end and was a little more defensive, especially with the seamers. And the seamers also, I mean, to be honest, I mean, all the bowlers did their job to the tee. The seamers bowling the line that they did in the first session, not giving away too many runs. Jadeja, you expect him to do that, especially on a day 5 when there's some help available. I mean, and the best part about Jadeja since this morning, is he's just tried to be himself. He's just backed his strength, which is bowling fast and quick and in that one area. Didn't try to do anything fancy like, flighting the ball or drift or anything. Just came in bowling at 58, 59 miles an hour and been consistent with his length and line, especially length.
Yeah, he's done very well, isn't he? And Bumrah, that spell there, crikey. In fact, what was the spell there?
It was 2 for 6 from 6 overs, the last 4 of which he took 2 wickets for 1 run with 3 maidens. In all, 17 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 20 in the innings.
Yeah. No, excellent. Really outstanding quality bowling. England have got a lot to do here. There's still how many overs to go? I'm looking at that jumble of figures up there.
49 left.
49 to go. Well, they've got some fairly stubborn lower order batsmen to come.
Afternoon. I've got a very good tweet here if you'd like to listen to it. If you want, from Dale Smythe. On the first day, when England won the toss and bowled, the others on at BBC TMS laughed at Phil Tufnell, saying always bat first. Yeah. Well, the chickens have come home to roost today, and this is the best bit. Always listen to Tuffers.
Right. Who's this chap?
Dale Smythe.
Dale Smythe.
Very, very good knowledge of the game, a very good cricket brain.
Yeah.
And he's got a little picture of a Warwickshire bear there, so he's obviously a Warwickshire
There's
bear
a lot to
guy.
be said for that. But I mean, when England bowled India out for 191 and they were 127 for 7, and then England scored 290. So it all went wrong a bit after that.
Well, you know, there's still a long way left in the game, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But-
Always listen to Tuffers.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's...
And a good mantra for life.
We can have that put on a T-shirt, can't we, Tuffers?
Do, yes. I've got one with what a great day to be alive on from here when I gave the two boys their caps, and that's all I came out with. As Gucci had nicked all my best lines.
No, well, that's just one of the things to look at, isn't it? It's
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, it was the right decision, to be fair, perhaps to stick them in, but you know, it's funny, isn't it? We were all sitting there having a bit of lunch and we're just thinking, oh crikey, you know, who knows what's going on, bum bum bum. And then you're back to square one in your
well, that's
fighting
it. You
field.
have to lose a couple of wickets.
Yeah.
And these records stand for a reason, you know. It's but I mean, it's always lovely to build up the event and because one day it'll happen.
Oh yeah,
one
without
day it'll
doubt,
happen,
yeah.
and it might be that day. But you do know, if you're being absolutely honest with yourself, well, I think as we all said this morning, the likeliest order of
Yeah,
results.
But if there was ever a time or an innings where I thought that it might be, I must admit I was mildly confident in a funny sort of way this morning. Got off to a decent start. There you go.
That's you.
Yes, it is. A Che Guevara.
Yes.
That's right. Well, I went out to give them their cabs, the two Middlesex boys, who were the Middlesex boys at the time. Gucci said, oh, do you mind me giving my Essex lad, I think it was Wesley, his first cap. And I'd spent up all night writing down my sort of Churchillian sort of, you know, come on here, family's here, and do it for your Queen and country. And then Gucci came out, nicked all of them, so that's all I came up with. What a wonderful day. What a wonderful day to be alive. Go and enjoy it. Toby Roden-Jones, I think, got 5 for.
And he's back in action.
Is he?
At the moment.
Oh, well, that is good.
He's got wickets, yeah.
Yeah, good, because he's a top man, Toby.
Yeah,
and
he had a long time out, didn't he?
Very good bowler. In fact, I bet he's got some good stats for England.
He certainly did. He began with a bang.
Yeah, I think he had 17 wickets. He only played three tests.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very long drink, I must say. We've sat here for 10 minutes and haven't seen a ball yet, but here we go. 150 for 6. And Yadav's back in the attack. It is bowling to Woakes, Root rather, who goes back and plays that into the offside. Woakes up at this end, Root on strike. And, well, the drum beat out there, you can hear, is an Indian drum beat. And it sounds rather sinister, as if the end is nigh. It's got that sort of drum beat.
Sort of creeping up.
Bit of a death knell.
Yes, creeping up behind you in the dark.
Yeah. There's a lot of Indian supporters here.
Yeah, there is.
So you can hear them over a wicket falls. Yadav over the wicket, bowls to Woakes, leans forward and plays out to cover. So Jadeja there is having a breather. What was his figures?
Well, that last spell was 7 overs, 2 for 10 in all. 28 overs, 10 maidens, 2 for 49. 2 for 25 from the last 22 of those overs. So he had restricted England and then got those 2 big wickets.
I didn't like the look of Hamid's.
No.
Just try to open the face, didn't he? He was looking to rotate strike. Open the face and it clipped the top of our stump.
Yadav bowls and Woakes will get a run. Steering the ball down to third man.
Well, Joe must be scratching his head. He's just popped out.
So it's Root, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's just popped out after lunch, and he's had 4 different batting partners.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, just hang around with us, will you?
Coming down to chat to Woakes now. There's a slip coming in. Who is that? Oh,
hello, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it would have been Johnny.
Well, the captain standing firm at the moment. Woakes taking guard. It's a funny old field, this. That's
Umbrella.
Well, I'm not thinking about him so much. It's the one at mid-on, because he's got 2 mid-wickets. And then he's got this mid-on who, when Root was facing, was absolutely behind. There's a straight line between one of those close fielders. Yadav bowls and Woakes clips that away neatly. Picks up a single down to deep backward square leg. No fuss there at all, and Woakes takes his 3rd run. 152 for 6. It's quite a large drum, that. It's got quite a deep, resonant sound to it.
Yeah, the other ones are a little bit sort of ticklers, aren't they? couple of, I do know what they're called. Isha said what they were called. Yeah, a bit more of a batting drum, that is, I think, the little ones.
Yeah, to have bowls down the leg side. Not a good ball. Nicely collected by Panther. Diving full length to his left. 152 for 6. So it all went wrong for England after lunch. India snatching the 4 wickets very quickly as well. Just completely derailing England, who now just try and hang on. It's all they can try and do. 48 overs remain after this.
And a new ball.
And the new ball, yes, indeed, fairly soon. Yeah, to have bowls, and Root takes his hand off the handle there of the bat, turns it away into the leg side. To leg by signals. 153 for 6. So yes, 74 overs gone with this one. 6 overs remain. Root and Woakes exchange a conversation. They'll still be trying to be upbeat about things.
Just a little more on that collapse. 4 wickets in 7 overs. 17 wickets had fallen in the previous 267 overs at a rate of 1 every 16 overs, and then suddenly 4 in 7. In terms of England collapses from 2 down to 6 down for just 6 runs in home tests, the joint second worst since 1902. When a star-studded England team crumbled in the only test ever played at Bramall Lane in Sheffield.
Bramall Lane. Might have been a bit up and down at Bramall Lane.
Wonder why they played there. It was a lovely ground in those days. It all set up. In comes Siraj, bowls short, steered by Root. Little flick away, sends the ball down to third man. Bumrah's the fielder. He's got a lot of friends down here. Sends in a high return to punt. There's one played at Bradford as well. No, complete nonsense. I'm just getting confused.
Bradford. What test match at Bradford?
Well, there's a lovely ground there.
Oh, it is.
Did you play first class cricket there?
No, I didn't.
Seems one of the places there should have been a test.
Yeah, it was the third Ashes test of a classic series in 1902. England went from 101 for 2 to 106 for 6.
This next one's outside the off stump from Siraj, and Root has nothing to do with it.
The batsman dismissed. Here's some names for you, Haggis. Johnny Tildesley, Stanley Jackson, C.B. Fry and Len Braund. Classics.
Sounds like a 4-ball.
Tildesley.
Clive. Who's Clive Tildesley?
Football commentator.
Is he?
I'm sure they're related. There was a family, I think 3 Tildesley brothers. All
Coronation Street.
Yeah, and who are they related to?
Each other.
In comes Siraj, bowls, and that's driven down the ground by Root. We haven't seen that happen very often.
It's still on.
It's a very good shot. It's full and straight. And driven for 4.
Adam Mountford, our producers, told me that they're related to Michael Vaughan.
Yeah,
yes.
That's why I asked you the question.
Oh, right, okay. No, I don't have that.
Why did you have to ask Adam Mountford?
Who's related to who's in my stats database?
They're all related to Michael Vaughan.
Yes.
I wasn't asking because I didn't know. Who's Mohammad Siraj related to? Here he comes, bowls outside the off-stump. Root comes forward.
Mr. and Mrs.
Plays that away into the offside. Anyway, 159%. I can't remember how it came up, or somebody, because I don't think Michael knew. There was something rather strange about it all when this was discovered some years ago now. In fact, it was discovered at Old Trafford. I think he was still playing at the time. So 159 for 6. Comes Siraj and bowls. And that's pushed away out to mid-on, and there's no run. So Catherine Tildesley came on. I remember her coming on to Test Match Special. And so did she reveal that she was related to Michael then, and Michael didn't know? And that
who's Michael not related to? Just because.
That's how I think the Tildesley connection came out.
Oh, so it was in the genes.
Yeah. 159 for 6. Root's over his bat. There's 2 slips, 2 men catching in the leg side. This bizarre mid-on. Directly behind them is Suraj Bowles on the leg stumps, flicked away by Root. Only one run. That's all they'll have. The fielders already gathered it. Pigeons scattering. Disturbed by the noise, I would think. It's all building up here. 160 for 6, Root 27. Wokes has 3. England need 208 more to win. But the fact is, the new ball's due in 5 overs' time. And they've got a lot of batting still to do, about 45 overs or so. I suppose the question is, who is going to bowl and give the new ball to? So Bumrah's had a good spell. He's got Yadav on at the moment. He's going to bowl to Joe Root. He's wandering round before settling into his position. There's a square third man. 2 men out in the leg side. As Yadav kicks up his heels, bowls to Root, who flicks him away. A lot of bottom hand there, sends the ball skimming away out to the right-hand side of the field as we look at it. It's thrown back by Jadeja. It's 161 for 6. And Root actually has played very well. He's dug out a couple of brutal Yorkers from Bumrah, which I think he was worried about the bottom of his bat. He was examining it every time, but 2 absolutely perfect full balls. Of course, one had just done for Bairstow. Absolutely cleaned him up. And now Wokes with 2 slips, waits, and that's just played away out to short mid-wicket very calmly, very easily. It's very unflustered, Wokes.
Yeah, it's looked pretty straight as well, pretty straight up and down. As you say, Bumrah just got that movement.
Yeah.
And that perhaps touch of reverse, been working hard on the ball.
Got good pace too, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's that sort of, like, as you say, that trajectory.
Yeah.
Straight from the hand, and woof, it's on you. And then, as you said, well, we kind of knew it, didn't we, in the back of our minds, but we dared to dream a bit. But it's still flat. That's these 2 can get in.
Absolutely. The legs slip now. So there's going to be a short ball or 2. In goes Yadav, bowls, pitched up, driven to mid-on. And fielded by Jasprit Bumrah there. Indian supporters with flags draped around their shoulders appear over there to the left, taking their positions. It's this tremendous crowd.
Isn't it?
From Monday, yeah.
Isn't it brilliant?
Yeah. School's back today as well, isn't it? So I think I've seen 1 or 2 youngish people in the crowd here, but
not all schools.
Not all schools. No. 161 for 6, and this one is having Wokes playing forward.
Is it it's the posh schools that still have an extra couple of days, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Is it the other way around?
My kids' local non-posh school, they're off until Wednesday.
Oh, are they? Lovely, a couple of extra days.
So a nice scene as I went to get my car this morning with sort of 3 young kids, from very young to not quite so young, all lined up with their school uniforms on.
Picture.
Proud mother taking a photograph.
Yes, that's right. Immaculate.
Yeah, they were immaculate.
For a day.
This next one's very full, driven by Wokes. Well, he's got it away there through the leg side. He wasn't aiming for that. He was looking to play the ball much straighter. But there's Jadeja again. He was over there a minute ago.
You've got to keep your eye on
He's
it.
popped up there at mid-wicket now. 163 for 6.
Yeah, I've got one of those photos myself at home as a young fella.
Well, I've seen a photograph of you in your garden playing cricket, aged about
That's right.
6 or 7.
That's right, and there's another one.
You were batting, weren't you?
I was batting.
Actually, I must be honest, it was a darn sight better of a batting shot then than we ever saw later on.
Free-flowing extra cover drive just by the roses.
Yeah, that was it. 163 for 6. And Yadav bowls a bounce, so it's a bit of a wasted ball that Wokes can easily avoid. Is taken by punt, and that ends the over. So 163 for 6 is the score. There's still 46 overs for England to survive, and India need 4 wickets to go 2-1 up in the series with 1 to play. More from Tuffers and then Daniel Norcross.
Yeah, and you get the feeling that it's down to these 2 to hang around as well. Joe Root's looked in sparkling form as ever. So has Wokes, actually. He's been patting it back quite nicely. I mean, the chase has gone, obviously. It's just about, can they hang on? And we've got Calm Anderson, Overton, and Robinson. So there is a bit of batting there. Overton.
Yes, but
Robinson, couple of big lads lurching forward.
There's also a new ball available in 4 overs
We
time.
were just talking about that.
Whether it gets taken, I mean, we've seen reverse for the first time. What a spell from Bumrah, though. 6 overs, 2 for 6. I mean, where did he summon that from?
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant. Siraj starts a new over, and Root gets one down the leg side, which he flicks fine down towards the boundary. It's well stopped. Very well stopped down there. So both long leg by the time it was actually taken by Umesh Yadav, the fast bowler, who's legged it about 20 yards and kept the scoring to 2. Root moves to 30. For those of a statistical bent and who are trying to find some crumbs of comfort in England's batting collapse,
please pray tell.
Well, there's Root. Root has now moved to 1,449 runs this calendar year. He needs another 33 to go past England's current record holder, who's a member of our commentary team. Siraj in, and you won't be surprised to know it's not you.
No, I did look at you slightly there for a second.
Did I do that? Yes. It's a single, does Root, and goes to 1,450 runs.
M. Vaughan.
Moves to 31, 166 for 6. M. Vaughan, who has England's record, 1,481 in a calendar year.
He's nicking a few records off of Mike, isn't he, this summer?
Yes, he's little.
No wonder I keep seeing him looking a little bit.
Yeah,
miffed,
well, I was going to say,
Mike,
I've noticed Michael's demeanour has been a little bit,
a bit short.
But yeah, the best one for that was Charlotte Edwards. I commentated the game with Charlotte Edwards, and it was the first match after she had sort of retired. Siraj in short down the leg side. Wokes goes for the pull, and there is a leg slip in, almost leg gully, and he missed it. Went through to the keeper, and there's no run. And I don't think that she would necessarily have retired had she been selected by England, let's put it that way. So she was in the commentary team instead, and she holds the record for the highest individual score in a one-day international for an English woman. And Tammy Beaumont and Lauren Winfield Hill playing against Pakistan. Tammy Beaumont got, can't remember exactly, but she was getting closer and closer to it. I think it was 178 is the number required. Maybe Andy can look it up for me. Siraj is in. And, it's struck on a pad. Big appeal. That looks close. Umpire not moved. Are they going to go through for a leg bye? Are they going to go through more than a leg bye? Because there's been overthrows. Crowd are loving this. They're going to come back for 3. And now the Indians are chatting. When does the DRS countdown start from, I wonder? Presumably when the ball is dead, which it now is, yes.
Right.
Now the DRS timer is on, but they've only got one review left, and I think they've decided against it in the end. That's sort of what can happen if you burn reviews. I wonder. Just waiting short, down to 2, down to 1. Kohli, no, he's not going to do it. Leg bye is signalled by the umpire, and 3 of them. Was that right? Is it 3? Thank you, Andy, for watching. It's 169 for 6.
Height, a little bit high.
Was it a bit high?
Yeah, nip back though, but lovely. Yes, leg byes out to deep, long on.
Yes, it rolled on the onside, shy of the stumps, and it flew up to deep long on.
That could be a first, couldn't it?
Yeah.
3 leg byes to long on.
Apart from if he had those Tendulkar pads.
If it had been given out, then it was umpire's call.
Oh, was it?
The
just about
ball
high.
Tracker, Siraj into Root, who clips this into the onside, where there's a cluster, almost a slip cordon, from mid-wicket down to square leg. But when I say mid-wicket, short, really short mid-wicket, just in front of square and just behind square, these 3 fielders. So, Tammy Beaumont was batting. Yes. She's getting closer and closer and closer. And I couldn't resist it. I kept saying, it's a marvellous new opening partnership England have got here, Shah, doesn't it? I mean, and Tammy Beaumont, she's getting closer and closer to your record. She was like drumming her fingers on the table. Siraj is in. That's worked into the onside. Straight to one of those 3, the straightest of those 3 fielders, and the onside end of the over, 169 for 6. She's a wonderful woman, and she'd be delighted for someone who does break the record. But I think if you have the record, what was the record?
173 not out against Ireland in Pune in 1997 by Charlotte Edwards. Tammy Beaumont
Tammy get?
Ended on 168 not out in Taunton in 2016.
Was there a little mini fist pump?
It was a little. Yeah.
She got
So I
out.
think she was starved of strike towards the back end of the innings.
Just on the runs in a year for Tuffers to have scored 1,482 runs.
Yeah.
Based on the number of runs he scored and the length of his career.
Yes.
You'd need to play for England for 103 years and 4 months.
It's doable. A bit like this total was this morning.
We better mock that up, haven't we?
2 chances.
A 120-year-old Tuffers walks out of
Yeah.
the crease. Umesh Yadav starts a new over, and Wokes clips this beautifully through mid-wicket. It's running away towards the boundary. It's being pursued in vain. It's a lovely shot, little flick of the wrists. He's a beautifully elegant player,
Isn't it?
Chris Wokes. It really is.
Timing that, wasn't it? Just pure timing.
Proper batter, as they say. 173 for 6. Wokes moves to 9. Yeah, I mean it was straight. It was on middle and leg, and he just leant into it, turned the wrists, picked up 4. A sign of what might have been if England had kept their wickets in hand.
What an after-session 20 minutes that was.
29 minutes of mayhem. It was brilliant bowling, though, wasn't it?
Yes. Got to take your hat off. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, when you see something a bit special.
Umesh Yadav is in, and that's thick edge. It's going to run down the deep third boundary. It's not going to get all the way there. It'll be hauled back in. They'll come back for a couple of runs. There's Surya Kumar Yadav, who's substituting out there for Pujara and Rohit Sharma. Not both of them, obviously, just for the one of them, but we don't know which. Picks up 2. Wokes goes to 11, 175 for 6.
When you're in this situation, you know, we're all out in the field and everything, you know, the shout does go up. Come on, lads, you know, it's time for a boom boom. That's what we used to say. But that was a boom boom, boom boom.
That was a boom. Yeah, it was a boom, 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 boom.
Boom boom boom.
And so weird in a way, because Bumrah had struggled to get any wickets for a while, hadn't he? He bowled 30 odd overs without a wicket. And the same with Jadeja, he was struggling for wickets. Umesh in, defended by Wokes, back to the bowler. There's no run. I mean, if you look at, I would have said from the end of the first session of the second day to the end of the first session of the 5th day, wickets look really hard to come by. The back end of England's innings, you know, England's lower order found it pretty easy to score. Then India had a great 3rd day and a great 4th day. England toiling for wickets, and then India couldn't take wickets. I mean, they've had a run out and a peach of a delivery to get rid of Burns. And that was it. And then 4 in 29 minutes. It's sensational stuff. Down the leg side. Oh no, top edge. Where's it going to land? Is it going to land safely? It does.
Oh, wow.
So Wokes trying to clip that ball off his toes. Got a thick, almost like a leading edge. It went straight up in the air and it was rolling down towards deep backward square leg. Punt the keeper, slip, and Siraj down there at deep backward square, all running towards it from different directions. And for Wokes, mercifully, it landed right in the middle of the 3 of them.
Extraordinary.
Yes, it was.
Gone for the clip. Oh no, it's almost gone off the toe of the bat. I don't know how he's got that there. He must have just sort of scooped it up. Very strange. It might have hit a bit of pitch and sort of bounced on him, but lucky to get away with that.
Wokes to 12, 176 for 6. Root back on strike on 31. Faces up to Umesh Yadav, who bowls a straight ball. She pushes to a straight short mid-wicket. We've still got these catches in with the old ball for the seamers, and it's a curiously interesting looking field, really. You've got a pretty straight short fielder on the onside, then a straight mid-wicket, Surya Kumar Yadav, and then a man 4 yards in front of square that's a bit deeper. It's a weird looking field, but there's method in it. A wide slip is in as well. Yadav into Root, who dabs this down into the gully region, which is vacant, and they get through for a single. Root moves to 32, 177 for 6 at the end of the over. 2 overs to go before a new ball is
that all?
available. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crept up without noticing as well.
England are over halfway through the day, though. They've survived 46 overs.
I like the way you turn stats round.
Yeah, it's a positive.
I never thought you could turn stats round.
Oh,
you can.
Oh, you can do anything with a stat if you ask it nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying the other day? I said, well, it doesn't matter, but you can. You do it nicely.
Thank you.
You give me hope.
Well, that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
And also, quite genuinely, the pitch is still pretty flat. I mean, it's taken some terrific bowling, and I half wonder if the collapse was precipitated a little bit. I was on with Michael, we were talking about this. If you remember, if you go back to 150 odd when it all started, it was Jadeja bowling into the rough outside Hasib Hamid's leg stump, and he had been padding them away, and he was absolutely fine before lunch. And then after lunch, there was a little bit of urgency. Root hit this first ball, reverse sweep for 4. They started to be a little bit more urgent. It was as if Hasib Hamid decided he was going to use his bat, the one that pitched outside leg, to try and manufacture a single at the offside.
And just open the
Missed
face a
it,
bit.
clipped the off stump. Ball flew to first slip. Listeners, I'm afraid, had to endure the worst piece of commentary that TMS had for a while when I described that as caught at first slip rather than bowled. Sorry. But, well, it just looked like it, didn't it?
Did first slip catch it?
First slip did catch it.
Off the top of off stump?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's harsh.
It was a bit harsh.
Don't be down on yourself.
Siraj bowls on the pads of Root and clips it to backward square leg. But, it was a bit irritating.
Yeah, well, I can see how that could have been.
Yeah.
Well, they have green bales, don't they? So they don't show off against the grass. They
can't
fall off.
I like your zing bale.
Zing bales.
Singers would do it.
Wouldn't it just spark it up a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's not too modern, is it? No, I think the zing bale is just better for the viewing public.
Siraj in, and Root just works this. Can't beat the tightly packed leg side field. It's a little bit different from when Yadav was bowling, because there's a square leg and just in front of square and mid wicket. But anyway, just before he goes, just going to suggest that maybe in that look to kind of move pace along, maybe Hamid exposed his off stump that way.
Yeah, I make you right. And then there was a bum bum bum.
And then there was a bum bum bum. Yeah, thereafter.
Quick bums they were.
Yeah, but spectacular stuff.
It was
from Bumrah. Siraj into Root, who covers up in defence. Foolish ball, and off stump, dabs it into the offside. There's no run. England 177 for 6, Root 32. Wokes has 12. Ebony Rainford Brent is going to join us. A new ball is available in 9 balls' time, at which point there will be 42 overs left in the day's play. The over 8's been fairly slow, and there are clouds, which means that, England have got to try to dig in. If they do, who knows what that might mean for light later on. Siraj bowls full delivery, which is dug out by Root up to mid-on, and there's no run. Ebony Rainford Brent joins us. I wanted to ask you a question about Root and his technique. He feels like he's predominantly a back foot player, transfers weight forward well, but he's on the back foot. Does that make it a bit more difficult for him on these kind of fifth-day pitches? If there's a bit of reverse, it starts to bring bold LBW more into play for him, perhaps? The Siraj runs in towards him. It's a Root who gets tall and pushes out square of the wicket on the offside, but the field is very well placed, and Rahane has to move to his left at cover to field.
I think he's quite competent when it comes to front foot. He loves, what he likes to do is just get back and knock it square, sort of just through that, just in front of point and into this mid wicket. This is why I like that they've set this field actually with the 2 catches here. It just doesn't allow him to get that release shot going onto the leg side.
Yeah.
But he's comfortable getting on that front foot. He's batting outside of his crease now. If he feels he needs to adjust his length on the crease to counteract, he's pretty competent. I think the only challenge is going to be the new ball. There might be more pace and movement, which rushes you for your decision. But to me, he has the all-round game, I would argue.
Siraj runs in to complete his over, the 79th of England's innings, and Root drives nicely into space on the offside. It's running away to the cover boundary. And that's a perfect example. Got right onto the front foot and pushed it sumptuously to the left of Rahane and the covers, and it ran away along this fast outfield, this oval square, the Harleyford Road end. Harleyford Road side, I should say. 181 for 6 at the end of the over. Root to 36. Increasingly looking like this partnership is England's only hope of surviving, but they have 43 overs to get through, and at the moment you'd have to say India well on top.
I've been in shock for a little bit. I was surprised by that.
The bum 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 bum.
Yeah, I thought, when you actually think, obviously we're meant to be impartial, but I actually thought the draw was on, England was settled in, the pitch wasn't offering much.
Yeah.
And then just to see that kind of happen in the space of, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, it just completely flipped on its head. So
Well, it was Bumrah, though, was it really? I mean, it was getting Pope and Butler and Bairstow with he bowled an incredible spell. He was summoning up 90 mile per hour, reverse swinging.
And
sometimes
Yorker.
Yorker's the route who dug him out brilliantly.
would you argue, watching now, that their seamers have tried more? So we just saw the miss-hit from Wokes.
Yeah.
Was a slower ball, nearly 10 miles an hour shorter. I think they've tried a few more things. The Yorker, the slower ball. Rather than, I felt like,
on this pitch.
medium paces who were tired just bowled length.
Is that perhaps because the pitches that they bowl on in India require a bit more variation? Because, English bowlers in English conditions tend to have something you can work with. Jadeja has come into the attack for the 80th over, and Wokes just pads this away. Jadeja is aiming for those footmarks outside the leg stump. Of course, he can't be out LBW, but the pitch is there, so Wokes is very safe, just kicking it away.
I take your point that you have to make something happen because it's not there for you.
Yeah, so it sort of comes more naturally to think in those terms, perhaps. Jadeja in again. That's defended from the crease by Wokes. I mean, Anderson is a terrific bowler, a brilliantly skilled bowler, but you don't really see him do much in the way of slower ball variations or the like. For him,
Yorker,
it's like
it's just more about the in and out.
Yeah. No ball.
Again.
England get another run, but they have to face another ball as Wokes defends from the crease. There's no run. We had someone suggest earlier in this test that you should be allowed to choose whether or not you get another ball after a no ball. Jadeja is in, and that's padded away again by Wokes on the basis that it's a bowler error. So the idea is you get the run, yes, but if you don't want to face another ball
as the batter,
why should you have to?
Yeah.
You should be penalising the bowling side. It's a valid way of thinking. And again, Wokes is able to kick the ball away outside the leg stump. Make sure that he keeps his arms out the way as well, just in case it bounces up off the pad and onto his gloves. Jadeja trots in, and he uses his bat this time, Wokes, just to push the ball to the offside. Jadeja moves across to his left to field. Last ball coming up of the 80th over, at which point I'm expecting India will take the new ball. They don't have to, of course. And again, Wokes just kicks away a ball spinning out of the rough. End of the over, end of the 80th over. England 182 for 6. Wasn't a maiden because there was a no ball in it. And they're nearly halfway to the target, which is now extremely notional.
Stop on that spell by Bumrah. It was his 35th spell of the series and his fastest in terms of average ball speed. Bowled 140 overs in the series before that spell. Summoned up something spectacular.
And that's amazing, isn't it? Really. Now, this is interesting because I can see the new ball is still in the hands of whatever that is. Is that like a fourth umpire?
Yeah.
The ball's now been put back inside its cellophane wrapper, so it's not even been brought out. This is interesting. So the bowlers clearly are happy that they're getting a bit of reverse here, as we saw from Bumrah's spell. Shardul Thakur's coming in to the attack to replace Siraj. What was Siraj's spell there?
4 overs for 15. Umesh Yadav 3 overs for 13. Swing those 7 overs, including extras, on for 32 runs, which puts England bang on the run rate required, Daniel.
Well, it does actually, doesn't it? That's precisely what I was thinking. Shardul Thakur in to start a new over, and Roots is bowled!
Bowled him, that's the game, surely. First delivery from Shardul Thakur, dragged on by Root, trying to dab that ball down through backward point, and he's just dragged it back onto his stumps. And wow, listen to this Indian crowd, because they know what that means. That's a loss of England's 7th wicket. It's Root has gone, and India now surely will go on to win this game. It was just an innocuous delivery, back of a leg, short outside the off stump. Root hung his bat out to it, came off the inside edge, back onto the leg stump. What a genius move from Kohli, bringing Thakur on. He didn't take the new ball. He decided to go with the old ball. It didn't do a great deal, as I said, but for Root, he was just hungrily looking for another dab down to backward point for another single, and he walks off forlornly, knowing
that on his shoulders England's hopes rested, and really it feels like that is the match. England 182 for 7.
Ebony, thoughts from you?
And then it'll be Simon Mann.
That is a huge, huge wicket. It's a really interesting one because there was just a little bit of drift with the ball. It was just kind of gently shaping back into Root, who was trying to go against the swing and just dab it down. And I think it actually just cramped him a little bit more than expected. It wasn't huge movement. It wasn't that sort of pronounced reverse that we saw from Jasprit Bumrah, but there was just enough to create a bit of a problem. And wow, well, Joe Root, of all players, getting out in what looked quite gentle for him. Well, this has blown the game open. And also India, what's great for them, they're still getting movement with the old ball, and at any stage they can call the new ball. That's the wicket that they've been hunting for.
It's the second time Thakker's got Root in the 2 tests that he's played. It's his 7th wicket of the series. 5 of them have been in the first over of a spell. I don't know if you can read anything into that, but
He's just not picking him up or whatever it might be. Well, Simon, it's all happening.
Yeah, India are closing in. England have lost 5 wickets this afternoon. Brilliant from Bumrah, some work from Jadeja. Shardul Thakur joining in as well. And Thakur is the man who probably wouldn't have played if Ashwin had played. He's made 2 half-centuries in the game, and he's taken 2 big wickets in this second innings. Burns for 50 and Root for 36 to go along with his wicket in the first innings of Pope, who was going well, bowled for 81, so he's taken out 3 big wickets in the match and scored 2 half-centuries. He's had a very good game. 182 for 7. Overton's out in the middle. Here is Thakur to bowl to him, and Overton is forward, playing up the onside of the pitch, and there is no run. Last time I can remember Craig Overton trying to bat out a game for a draw was in the Ashes of 2019, in the gloom at Old Trafford. I think he was the last man out in Australia, claiming him LBW. Overton reviewed it. Australia waited and then leapt in the air when they saw that he was out. I think there were about 12 overs left, something like that in the match. It's a really big task from here. Still 41 overs left after this, and a new ball available should India want to take it. Thakur goes in, bowls to Overton, who's forward, playing towards extra cover, and there is no run. What we should say about Overton, he's a perfectly competent lower order player, but is he up to this, or is he good enough to cope with this monumental task from here?
I think also knowing in the back of your mind, when you know that new ball can come at any moment, it just leaves you a little bit unsettled. You know, India completely in the driving seat, they're getting current movement, and there's more to come with a bit more pace if you feel that you get settled.
Thakur bowls to Overton. Overton stretching right forward using his height, playing it up towards mid-on, and there's no run. What you do from here is Overton, you just play each ball and see where you go, don't you? Just try and survive each ball, get to tee, try to get to the last hour if you possibly can, and just count the balls down. But there's so many left in the day's play. India have been irresistible this afternoon, as they were indeed at Lord's on that final day.
He's chatting away to Bumrah, Kohli. There's a long chat between those two.
Thakur to Overton. Overton stretching right forward again, playing to extra cover, and there's no run. England were 100 for no wicket in the 41st over, and now 182 for 7 in the 81st over. So they have subsided in 40 overs. The last 40 overs have scored 82 runs and lost 7 wickets. It's been well, apart from that burst in the afternoon, it's been quite a slow decline. It's not like India rushed through them. They did then that middle period. England have tried to resist, but they've not been able to do so. Brilliant from Bumrah, that spell this afternoon. Thakur bowls and fiddled away into the offside by Overton, and they go off for a single, and so Overton is off the mark. We've got 15 minutes to go until tea on this final day. Feverish support for the Indian team today in this full house at the Oval. Lots of England supporters today came with hope, well, outside hope of victory, certainly of saving the game, and that's been blown away this afternoon. At lunchtime it was 131 for 2, and The draw still seemed on then, but it just shows how quickly you can change the game with the ball. It is going to be Bumrah to bowl. The second new ball is available. He's doing a practice run-up. He looks a bit like me if I go out for a run.
It's taken a while to warm up.
Yeah. It was a very, it's fair to say, it's a very laboured run to the crease. That
he was doing a lot of stretching over at sort of point the over before. You could see it was like, I just need to crank things up slowly.
Yeah, it was like someone in the Mall after running 6-hour marathon. That his movement to the crease. Anyway, he's got the ball in hand now. We just keep an eye on whether he's taken the new ball. I haven't seen the new ball held up. I mean, he's good with the old ball as well. That's the other thing. I mean, but you suspect the new ball's not too far away. He's got what looks to be an old ball field. In that he's got two men close, catching on the onside at short mid-wicket, and he's got a leg slip as well. No, Bumrah says, I don't want a leg slip, so I want an orthodox slip. So fielder comes over. So he got 3 slips, 2 close catches on the onside, and here he goes to bowl to Overton, looking for his 3rd wicket of the afternoon. Bowls very full, and Overton digs it out into the offside. There's an appeal for LBW from the 2 close fielders on the onside. Of course, there was one in the England first innings where Moeen Ali drove a ball to mid-on, but the ball clipped his boot first, just as the bat came down, it clipped the boot, and then he drove to mid-on. And if they'd reviewed it, it would have been out LBW. I don't know if you picked that one up, Ebbs, when he was on 14.
Yeah, I missed that.
The only thing about that, I would say, is what's strange about whether the ball's going to go on and hit the stumps. Here is Bumrah bowling to Overton outside the off stump, and there's no stroke. The ball, of course, wouldn't have gone on to hit the stumps because the bat was coming down right behind the boot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So actually, if it missed the boot, it'd have actually hit the bat. But I mean, that's not
the way it works.
That's not the way it works. But there's no way that ball would have hit the stumps, even though he would have been at LBW. If you understand what I mean.
100% what you're saying. He was eyeing up the right line. He just got it behind. Yeah.
183 for 7. Bumrah goes in to bowl to Overton. Overton plays defensively into the offside, and there's no run. It rolls out towards Umesh Yadav. Indian supporters, they're hoping for a wicket every ball now just to finish this off, get the deal done. Go to Old Trafford 2-1 up on Friday. Makes you wonder who's going to be available for England.
Who's fit?
Whether Joss Buttler comes back into the side. Whether Jimmy Anderson, Robinson play after their hard work this summer, where there's a bit of rotation. Wood surely comes back into the side. Bumrah bowls short, and that's edged and dropped at 3rd slip. It was a looper for 3rd slip. He dived away to his right-hand side. It would have been a comfortable catch for a 4th slip. Goes down towards deep 3rd, and Overton comes back for a very streaky 2 runs. Ajinkya Rahane leaping away to his right-hand side, could not cling on. So Bumrah denied his 3rd wicket for now. It was shoulder of the bat. Rahane
got to it.
Yeah, he did 2 hands away to his right, full stretch, and some would have caught it. Rahane didn't.
I think he got it ballooned up, didn't it? It was short, back of a length, ballooned up, and I think he kind of just snatched at it. He went a little bit too early, rather than just relaxing those hands.
Bumrah pitter-patters in again and bowls very full to Overton. That Yorker delivery. Dug out into the onside towards mid-wicket, shut the stumps and on striker's end. The mid-off fielder Yadav has to be alert there, otherwise there would have been overthrows. Not that runs really make much difference now. 185 for 7, Overton 3. Wokes there on 12. Out today, Burns 50, Hamid 63, Milan run out for 5, Root 36 from 78 balls, Pope 2, Bairstow 0, Moeen Ali 0. Bumrah bowls short, Overton ducks underneath it. Taken by Pant, end of the over. 185 for 7. There are 40 overs left. 40 overs left.
But England are past halfway in the chase, Simon.
And?
Well, it means they've got less than half
run
the runs
rates
to
are
get.
right to go. I'm just wondering if he should have had, in a little bit more of a traditional slip fit, one more down there. The reason being, I don't think Overton is going to whack him through mid-on or anywhere like that. And then that would have just, there's enough carry and enough fly through for the new ball. I just wonder if they left themselves a little bit exposed there.
Yeah, new ball's still not been taken. And they perhaps feel they've got enough action with this old ball and with the new ball up their sleeve should they need it. That's the thing. Right, 185 for 7. So Chris Wokes, who's batted very solidly so far, takes strike from Tucker, goes into Bolton, and Wokes is forward and defensively up the offside of the pitch. And it's picked up by Tucker, and there's no run. Wokes has had to watch the whole series on television so far, so he's not going anywhere. He's not giving anything away here. He's enjoying himself and enjoying the battle. So frustrating to be out of it, trying to make absolutely the most of his opportunity. He's had a very good game, Chris Wokes. Survived for 41 balls, 7 wickets in the match and a half century in the first innings. But a big task even for him. This is Tucker going into bowl to Wokes. Wokes dabs it away into the offside, square with the wicket. And there is no run. So what have we got? Just 9 minutes until tea. So we'll probably have about 37 overs after tea, 38 overs, something like that. But England only have 3 wickets left. There was that resistance, that partnership between Wokes and Root. They looked solid, didn't they? They had too many threats. And then Root cleaned up by Tucker. There's been a few bowled today, 4 in all. Tucker bowls down the leg side, tipped away by Wokes through mid-wicket for 1. They might come back for the second. They do. It throws on its way to the non-strikers end. It's a bit wide. And an easy 2 in the end for Wokes, who goes to 14. And England to 187 for 7. Still fancying a draw, Ebbs?
Simon, you're holding on to that. I was actually getting quite excited because Twitter was backing me up going, how did he shout you down yesterday?
Well, I didn't shout you down.
You didn't, but
I didn't shout you down.
They were getting into it. And then I was feeling quite confident up to the 4 wickets. Well, I would have been able to have you all day.
This is Tucker bowling to Wokes, angled away down into the slip cordon. It's picked up by Rahul, and there's no run. It still could be a draw.
Yeah,
it still could be. We'll wait until the end of the match before we finally settle. Before we
decide. Yeah. It is interesting though, isn't it? It's sport, it's pressure. One thing that changed today is definitely the atmosphere. There's noticeably more Indian fans in, and I've felt a lift of that little bit of pressure that you get sometimes, almost on a away tour sometimes. I do think that's added to the intensity, which the players would definitely feel in the middle.
Tucker bowls to Wokes. Wokes gets a full ball, which he skews away down towards deep third. He's going to pick up 2 runs, thickish outside edge. Umesh Yadav has to run back to the boundary to field and hurls the ball over Pant's head, backed up by Surya Kumar Yadav at mid-wicket. So 2 more to Wokes, goes to 16, and England to 189 for 7 on what's been a very chastening afternoon. But when we look back at this match, I wonder whether ultimately it was decided on the 3rd day. That superb, disciplined Indian batting performance that took them past England and into a position from which they could build on the 4th day. That was a really decisive day for down the leg side. Wokes turns it through square leg, possibly for 2 more, definitely for 1. Coming back for the second. Where did they start that 3rd day? I'm just looking at it now. Was it 43 for no wicket? So they were 43 for no wicket, still 50 behind. And then by the end of the day's play, they were 270 for 3. And they were the lead of around about 170 with 7 wickets left. That was the day I thought the game really changed. And so, that was a sort of decisive day. It felt like a decisive day beforehand. Today they've come out and exploited the runs they scored in that second innings. 466 all out. 191 for 7.
You mentioned a number of England players out bowled. 4 of the top 6 out bowled. It's the first time 4 of England's top 6 been bowled out by India since December 1961. We also had 3 of the top 6 bowled in the first innings, so the total of 7 top 6 England batters bowled out in a test. I'll come to it after this ball.
The tension's unbearable. Since here's Bumrah, going into bowl to Overton, and Overton blocks it back up the onside, up towards mid-on, and there's no run.
The first time for England since the Guyana Test of March 1994, which is the only other time in the last 70 years. And only the third in the last 90 years. 7 England top 7
That was
batters
a
bowled
juicy
out in the
stat.
same
You
month.
can even hear from the delivery from Andy. He knew he had one. That just tells a story.
Jasprit Bumrah, well, he bowled 2 of them. Goes in now to bowl to Overton. Short ball, Overton fends at it and didn't quite know where that was. It went off a thickish inside edge. It went down into the onside. And there is no run. A bit uncertain there against the short ball. Overton, he shoulder the bat to one in the previous over. Not sure he knew where that was going.
No, been awkward at that height. I think the moment for me, if I was to pick one out, it was quite early on in his Thacker's innings.
Yeah.
I just feel that they would have rolled them at that stage. It would have been so much time in the game, they'd have completely bossed it. It just gave India enough to hold on. And then I also think it gives you momentum mentally to think, right, let's fight back.
Short leg has gone in now. The helmet's out there. Bumrah moves in to bowl to Overton. It's full. Shout for LBW. This looks close. Out. Finger raised by Richard Illingworth. Bumrah's done it again with another full ball. Overton has reviewed it. Now, is this a bit leg side? It was full, but it has been given out. So, umpire's call will go with the bowler.
I think he's gone here. And it might even be umpire's call, because it was shaping, but I think he was pinned pretty full in front. Let's have a look.
Okay, PCB no bat involved. Just confirm that with Ultra Edge, please.
Umpire's call, Ebbs?
No, it might be. I think it could be missing, actually.
Okay,
So either
clear daylight
clipping or
on the pad.
missing,
Ball tracking
actually.
when available, please.
Here we go.
Oh.
Impact in line. It's missing the wickets, Richard. I'll get you to overturn your decision. I'll let you know when you're on screen. You're on screen now, Richard.
It was low enough, but it was wide. It was going down the leg side.
It felt gone, didn't it? It felt gone because he'd set him up. You thought that the short leg, and he went for the full ball. It tailed. I thought it might have just been clipping.
The other thing as well, that probably might have deceived the umpire, was that the ball went away on the offside.
So it started outside, offside,
well,
and then...
well, it went away on the offside, which makes you think it's probably a bit straighter than it was. Sometimes if it clips the pad and goes around the leg side, you think, oh yeah, that's probably going down. So Overton survives, quite rightly. Here is Bumrah going into bowl, full, and Overton eases that away towards extra cover, and there is no run. England clinging on, but there's still 38 overs left.
It's just
after this one,
the feel of it, isn't it? Because of the way Bumrah bowls, and he's at you, and he just went for the fuller spearing in delivery. Felt gone.
This could be the last over before tea. Bumrah moves in and bowls very full to Overton, who drives it back, and Bumrah fields off his own bowling, and there is no run. He's up around 90 miles an hour, keeping up his pace despite the fact that we're well into the 5th days, and his 19th over. His figures are amazing. 2 for 22 in his 19th over. How many balls left in the over? Andy? Just one. Yeah, I think this might well be it. It says 15:39 on the board. Clock on the pavilion says 20-4. Bumrah bowls short. Overton clips it in the air past short leg out towards mid-wicket. Should come back for 2. It was in the air for a while, but went quickly and wide of the short leg fielder Suryakumar Yadav. So they are back for 2. 193 for 7. No, I think on we go. We are going to get one more over. I think we are anyway. Depends how quickly umpire Wharf gets in from square leg. He's happy. It says 20-4 on the clock above the pavilion. It says 15:39 on the scoreboard away to our left-hand side. So I presume they're going on the scoreboard, are they? 193 for 7. Overton 5 with those 2 runs, and Chris Wake's back on strike. So after tea, we'll have 37 overs. Bumrah getting another huge round of applause down on the fine leg boundary. You can see an Indian trickler being waved away to our left-hand side. And this is Umesh Yadav going into bowl to Woakes, and Woakes is caught at mid-wicket, clipping it away, and he picked out the man, and India are 2 wickets away from victory. And Woakes has to walk off. He hit it cleanly, but he did not keep it down. He's gone for 18, and England 193 for 8. India celebrate, and you feel after tea it's just a matter of when.
Well done to India, really. They've got their plans right. They've gone with the old ball. They've set the field in front on that leg side for that exact shot, the clip. And I think they've bowled a beautiful line, tailing the ball in, using that bit of reverse swing. And that one was just chipped up too comfortably. It just feels inevitable now in terms of the fact that there's been nearly 3 hours of play after tea. They have the new ball still available, and Virat Kohli has been so clear with his plans. He's been marshalling the field. He looks switched on, and he's got his bowlers fired up and bowling with good pace and good energy. They are absolutely cock-a-hoop going into tea there.
Not a bad afternoon session for India. 62 for 6.
You'd take that.
25.1 overs. And England were 131 for 2 at lunch, but have just been pushed aside this afternoon by another irresistible India performance, the sort of performance we saw at Lord's in the second test match on the final day. So Woakes out for 18. I'll go through the scorecard of the day very quickly. Burns out for 50, Hamid for 63, Malan for 5, Root for 36, Pope for 2, Bairstow 0, Moeen Ali 0, Woakes 18. So over to not out 5 at tea, and Robinson and Anderson to come. The bowling figures: Umesh Yadav 14.1, 2, 46-1. Bumrah 19 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 24. Jadeja 29 overs, 10 maidens, 2 for 50. Mohammad Siraj 14 overs, no maidens, 0 for 44. And Shardul Thakur 8 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 22.